Good morning, everybody. We are live here today. It is the right side of campus, Thursday, May 31st, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus here, getting you ready for yet another weekend in sports. Get the NBA Finals kicking off today. You got MLB, you got all sorts of things going on in the world of sports. Welcome in Donnie Rightside, my co-host. Donnie, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing good. Hey, Thursday. We'll see what's up on the up and up, Jeff. Nice little start now to the NBA Finals. We'll see how intriguing it will be, so to speak, for the actual finals itself. Can Cleveland get a couple games? We'll talk about that. But a lot to go over, Jeff. And it seems like the center of the NBA universe today, Jeff, seemingly not in the Golden State, but here in the city of Philadelphia.
We are promoted by the great people at Intertops. Intertops, one of the best books in the business. If you're ever in the market for a new book, obviously you got the World Cup coming up. You got NFL and college football down the road as well. It's important that you have multiple books. Make sure Intertops is one of those. Intertops, great interface. Been doing this a long time. Great customer service. One of the best lines in the business. Make sure you check it out, Intertops, if you're in the market for a new book. Donnie, let's welcome in everyone to the show. Hopefully, you enjoy the show today and have a great Thursday. Purpose of this show is to recap what went on last night, what's going on in the world of sports, and take a look at tonight's action. We'll go over the NBA Finals. We'll go over Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals last night, Washington and Vegas, and we'll talk a little baseball as well. Hit the like button, please. Make sure you're doing that. It's a great way to grow the show. Lets everyone know what the statistics are looking like. And make sure if you're on Twitter, you retweet the show. If you see the link out there, it's a great way to get that out to people that might not see it on a regular basis.
Yes, no, that is
Donnie,
good. And also, Jeff, before we get in there, I would like to translate that a little bit. We are promoting Intertops. Intertops is not promoting us, so please go to Intertops, check it out. Slick interface, quick payouts, get the best lines possible. The promoted sports book of the week by Rightside on Campus is Intertops.
let's get into the morning headlines here. We start out with Bryan Colangelo. Bryan Colangelo is obviously we didn't talk about this. We weren't here yesterday. Colangelo, we all know what he did. We all know what he's possibly done here. Nothing has been guaranteed, but the writing's on the wall with Colangelo, making multiple Twitter accounts to prop up himself, prop up his thoughts, to bang on people, his players, coaches, people in the organization, media members, also disclosing medical information that not really his business to disclose. Uh, Look, I mean, the Sixers need to act on this. I'm not sure what they're waiting on. This needs to happen quickly, swiftly. They need to make a move here. It's not his wife. It's not his kid. It's him. It's pretty clear. And no one would have that information. He has talked about information that no one else would have other than him. And even if it wasn't him, and it is someone in his family, he should be talking about that with his family. This is sensitive information that needs to stay sensitive. Jerry or Brian Colangelo is a hack, but I do think this is a blessing in disguise for the Sixers in a way. Get him out, bring someone else in, hopefully David Griffin, and move on from this circus.
Yeah, no, thank goodness there's Twitter detectives out there that are much smarter than I am. And, the average person, as I tweeted out, they should be hired by the FBI. All dots are leading right back to Colangelo at this point. And, Jeff, in the business that he works in, its perception is reality. You know for a fact he is leaking information on the Sixers. And even if it's not him directly, which 100,000% it is him behind those accounts there. I see the retweets by some people say, oh, look, his wife is behind it. Look, you have girlfriends out there, mostly. You have wives out there, mostly. You have anybody close to you with acquaintances, right? Have you ever just said, you know what? Hey, honey, boy, what a great, third down blitz pickup by the Philadelphia Eagles. My wife would have no idea what I'm talking about, let alone make 5 burner accounts to come online and support me when I say that the Eagles picked up a good blitz call or, boy, they had a really good third quarter. Don't look too far into this. It's Colangelo point and center during this whole thing. And even if it's not, he's in an advantage position of being a GM or a head of a basketball organization. If you have your close family, if you have a wife, if you have a son, Don't you sit down with them and say, look, we've been in this business for a long time. You can't go on social media. You can't defend me. You can't leak information on different accounts. This is my livelihood that we're dealing with here, and somebody will sniff this out sooner or later. It all comes back to him. He's got to go. I'm surprised, Jeff, he made it through last night at this point. Perception is reality. He's got to go.
He should be fired right now. If I don't find out any more information about this, I don't need to find out any more information about this. He needs to be fired now. There's too much stink on the guy now. No one's going to trust him. No one's going to want to work for him. It just has to happen. There's nothing. You can't just say, okay, well, he won't do it again. No, he's gone. Get out of here. Beat it. Go away. Listen, I didn't like Bryan Colangelo before this. Bryan Colangelo's a hack. I mean, he's in the NBA because his father was in the NBA. That's the only reason. If nothing else is found out about this, he still needs to go. It just all happened. Okay, it's not like this information just been put out. This is sensitive information no one else knows. Who else would it have come from? Donnie Rightside. Who else would have given this information out? I mean,
And who has everything to lose? Colangelo had everything to lose in this. Like, nobody would take the time to make these burner accounts within the Sixers to protect Colangelo unless it was him. And let's get this something straight. Twitter is human nature. Like, burner accounts come at me all day long. Burner accounts come at Jeff all day long. You just have to roll with the punches. I'm not going to make 5 burner accounts to combat the burner accounts going at me. There's not going to be eggs out there retweeting if I won a game or not. Like, oh, I'm just trying to prop myself up. But when you come into a situation where everybody loves Sam Hinkie and Sam Hinkie got fired, and you see around Philadelphia the support that Hinkie got and what he built up to trust the process, don't you think Colangelo sits in the arena nightly when they chant trust the process and probably makes up a burner account nightly to get after, oh, these idiots, they don't even know what they're talking about, trust the process. I was brought in to correct the process, this and that. And who would have thought, Jeff, is Adam Silver behind the scenes now pulling strings for the Sixers to make sure they keep Colangelo because he was his puppet put in place to take care of Hinkie so the process never happened again? I think the NBA loved the fact the Sixers traded capital and whiffed on the Fultz trade, saying, ha, 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 don't you ever go out there and try to tank again. Look what happened to the Sixers. It doesn't work long term. They love the fact we whiffed on Fultz.
Richard West, it was his wife. They're not him. No, it wasn't. Stop talking about his wife. That's bad reporting, bad journalism by these fucking idiots that have nothing better to do than find headlines so they go to his wife. It wasn't his wife. Why would his wife do this? Why would anyone's wife do this? Why would any man put his wife into something like this? Why would that ever happen? You ever think maybe he used her phone number? Just like if I knew Richard West's phone number, I could legitimately put that in as my Twitter phone number.
Yes, correct.
The terrible journalism that goes on in these stories is, and I want to make this clear, the guy that broke this story, great journalism, but it's everything else that comes out because nobody's got an answer. So we run to the computer and make stories up so we can get clicks. And there's some big time companies that are notorious for this. They don't put any fucking journalism into anything. It's just, what can we put out that's going to get the biggest look? Who's going to notice what we're doing? Because we have no journalistic integrity. We have no talent. So we throw out the most stupid stories. We don't get called out for it because we're who we are, and we can just keep doing it. Stop ruining certain people. If it was Colangelo, so be it. But don't bring his wife, a woman, into it. Yeah. Don't bring a kid into it. It was him alone. And what male?
All he was doing was looking for phone numbers. Like, hey, babe, I'm at my limit on Twitter with my burner accounts. What's your telephone number? Then you move on to the kid, and maybe even your father-in-law, like your dad, Jerry. Hey, Jerry, I'm just going to use your cell phone. You don't use Twitter, and I know you don't have any accounts, so I'm just going to punch your cell phone number in there multiple times with random email addresses. Of course, it's him behind all that nonsense. Imagine, like, if you're the Cleveland Browns, Jeff, how many burner accounts did Sashi Brown and Hugh Jackson currently have? How many are they going on their computer deleting today? It's amazing.
I mean, look, the fact of having a burner account, listen, if you have a burner account, okay, I don't really care about that. But I don't know if there's no other GM or player that's going out and, talking. I mean, he called Nerlens Noel, names. He called Joel Embiid names. Markelle Fultz, his own coach. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he called Nerlens Noel a selfish punk. Come on.
Yeah, like even like Jeff, look at the Jimmy Okafor deal. Like
Crazy.
you're sitting here in Philadelphia for months. Colangelo, you moron, you idiot. You're not getting anything for Jahlil Okafor. You need to trade him. Why would you cut him? At least get something for him. And all of a sudden, burner accounts are coming out saying, hey, leave Bryan Colangelo alone. Little do you know, you need to follow up and see why Ja failed his physical with the Nets. And that's why we couldn't trade him there. Who the hell would write that other than the GM who's getting
No
flamed
one.
on a day-to-day basis? Nobody.
No one.
Yes.
The story is the story is sensational, really. I mean, if this is actually all true and like someone actually found all this out, it's very much it's very crazy, sensational and crazy. Why are people getting upset about burner accounts? He was only speaking the truth. Because you don't do this. What do you, Richard West?
As a
What do you?
GM,
You're not serious, are you? You're really not honestly serious. You don't see the big deal in as a GM of a professional basketball team at the highest level. You don't see anything wrong with creating fake profiles to not only prop yourself up, but n- jump on players that you don't like, you're not happy with, in a by the way, in an anonymous factor. Um, it's just bad business. What I don't even I can't. You know what? I'm not even surprised though, because there's
like,
something
it's not even
about
like
the
he has
internet
access,
age.
Jeff. Like he's using burner accounts, which Ben Simmons probably gets 1,000 tweets a day at him that says, "Hey, idiot, why
Sure.
don't you shoot a 3-pointer or work on your 3-point jump shot?" Bryan Colangelo can walk into practice, pull Ben aside, and said, "Look, I need you to take 3 3-pointers a game for the rest of the season. That's the way it's going down." Isn't that more motivating than having a random egg account at Ben Simmons to tell him to shoot some 3-pointers? It's hilarious, man.
It's just you can't do it. You just can't. And if he can't get a pass, that's not going to happen. He can't get a pass. No one will accept this. No one, especially this town. No one's going to accept that. He's gone. Um, yeah, exactly. I mean, Kevin Durant does it. Well, he's defending himself. I guess. I guess I can
Yeah,
see
well, I mean,
why
was
you
KD
wouldn't
out
do
there
that.
saying, like, I could see if KD's burner account said, "Hey, everybody, Steph just twisted his ankle in practice tonight. The line is 9. It's going to drop down to 6. Get in now." Like, no,
Yeah, and
KD's saying, "Hey, KD, you stink," and he's going in there like, "No, he's really good. He left for a reason." I mean, hey, he's burner accounts are hilarious in that regard there, but you
right.
can't hand out sensitive information and bash employees. Imagine if KD had a burner account, which all he did was flame all his teammates. That wouldn't go over well.
Okay, this is also another. I hate hearing this argument, but so many other players have burner accounts. None of them call players out though. They sit there
Or
and
get
read
caught.
stuff. Right. He did get caught. You're correct. But if you can, Richard, again, he doesn't. None of these players call out other players. None of these players discuss sensitive medical information. You don't. I don't know that you understand the difference. I mean, it's amazing you don't understand the difference between why this is bad. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it'd be like Donnie. Like if Kevin Durant had a Twitter account and said like Draymond Green's a clown, or something. If you want to
Yeah,
defend
I
yourself, look,
saw like if Draymond's married has a girlfriend and Kevin Durant's burner is like, oh man, Dre had 2 hotties all night last night at my crib, man. What a stud that guy is. You know what I mean? And then gets caught in that. That's a problem.
yes, yes. Uh, Richard West, I can't understand how you don't see the difference and why this is bad. It doesn't matter. Ben Simmons has one. Ben Simmons isn't going out and talking about the other players and the coaches, and it's just not something you do. It's in any at any level, and especially at his the president of the team. The Kardashian curse, another great story coming out of
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Donnie. Which look, Ben Simmons, young kid, good looking, has the accent, the money, you got the car. Listen, he's going to start running with different people. He's going to start being around different people. He's one of the young players in the NBA, up and coming. Obviously has a big time future. He, he's everything you would want in a male if you're Kendall Jenner. Listen, it, for me, if I'm at Ben Simmons level, and I'm never going to be and never will, uh, I would. I understand why he would go after Kendall Jenner, but I would also look at him and look at her and say, "Dude, she's been used like a fucking Greyhound bus." I mean, do I really want to get involved there? I mean, especially with the family connected. It's just not what I want. I mean, I could find a beautiful woman that doesn't have all the baggage that comes with it. And we have to also agree, Donnie, there is curious problem with every guy that dates this family, something negative happens in their career. I mean, Reggie Bush hasn't been the same person. Uh, you look at Lamar Odom, Chris Humphreys, all these various different people that have dated this family. It doesn't generally end well, and I get in this time why Sixer fans are concerned. You have so many women in the world, so many beautiful women. You can't go after one of them, no baggage, and it hasn't been ridden by everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but you just run in the same circles, though. I mean, a lot of people, Jeff, look at this as like, oh, Kardashian curse going down. I mean, it's up to the guy on what he's going to do. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a long-term relationship, but a lot of this stuff is branding because, as we like to say in the business, Jeff, all publicity usually is good publicity because you get people talking about it, you get retweets, more follows, and oh my God, where they at? The paparazzi shows them here. Maybe you could sell more sneakers or elevate your highlight. Kids are going to be kids. I mean, I call Ben a kid because, anything, what? 22 or less, you're basically a college kid at that point before getting out to the real world. Let him have some fun out there. I'm sure he's not tying it down or having a kid or doing this and that. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fling that won't last any much longer than months out there. Good looking kid, also has a lot of money as well. So, hey, more power to him. But there is something to be said about the Kardashian curse at this point because their ulterior motives are you using them, they're going to use you right back the same exact way, man.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, he's also made some pretty poor decisions with. I mean, he's come out and said recently that he broke up with his last girlfriend because she was trying to be too much like a Kardashian. He using her for. I mean, so
So
now
he
you're
went
with
for the real
her.
thing, Jeff. How about that? Yeah. He's like, I'm
I
not
don't
going
know.
to be with
I
a
don't
knockoff here. I might as well be with the real thing.
listen. I mean, it is what it is. He's gonna do his thing. I just wonder, like, what circle does he run in that he's gonna be near her? Like, I don't get that. He lives in Philadelphia. What circle would he
He's in
possibly run
Cali a
in?
lot, though, Jeff, I believe. I believe his off season, he trains a lot in California and all that stuff. So, and I
I
mean,
had
you have
someone
famous
call.
people, and they're sliding in each other's DMs all the time. Hey, I'm coming out to California. Where are you at? Hey, hang out with me tonight. I mean, hey, that's a privileged lifestyle that you live at that point, man. Imagine all the IG DMs you will be sliding into and all those models.
Dude, not for nothing, man. If I was Ben Simmons and I'm, his age and what, he has, I'd be going after chicks that nobody knows. I don't gotta, do you know how much paparazzi comes with that? It's just,
Yeah, but it's
I wouldn't
also
want
it's
anything.
also a sign it's also a sign of, I guess, almost respect too, though, because like you say, like go after people that are low. I mean, Derek Jeter is super infamous and famous for his, starting lineup in the, in his MLB where he could put all those women out there and say, look at all the people he had. Sometimes you just want to sit back and say, yep, her. She's famous, her, and her. And you're still going to do plenty on the side with people that are unknown as well.
But I guess I look at like this now and I say to myself, is there no like when you look for a woman anymore, is there no like do you look at her from a standpoint of like deep down who she is, what, her ethics are, like what she's all about. Like it's clear that she's not like she's like literally dated like five different NBA players. You really want to I know she's an attractive woman, she's beautiful, I get it, but there's a lot of other beautiful women out there that aren't, being used like a, you know, like a turnstile. I mean, I don't know. I guess nowadays is different. I'm talking
Yeah,
like
they're
I'm
probably a
40,
lot of
50 years
fun.
old.
Party. They get into the best parties. They do this, they that. You're not got to. Hey, when you show up with a Kardashian on your arm, there's going to be a million cameras there. Some people love the spotlight, Jeff. Just like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I would kind of probably I would probably get sick of it after a while. I would want a girl that probably just is different. And they seem like such like they don't even seem like fun. Like they just seem like I don't know. I don't get it. But I don't know. Who knows? Um, let's move on here. Damarious Randall. This story I read a little bit about Donnie when you sent me. I mean, it seems like a gag. I mean, he's not going to pay $92 million in jerseys out if they lose. I don't really understand the point of this. If I'm correct, he plays in Cleveland. I mean, why would you be doing this to
Yeah.
your own fans? I mean, it's kind of a shitty move, no?
Well, I don't think he even meant anything by it. Like, yo, man, Cleveland wins this. I'm getting everybody a Damarious Randall jersey or whatever. I think it was an NFL jersey. I don't even think it was like a LeBron James jersey at this point. But it's kind of funny when it takes fire. Like, maybe a couple people retweet it, 100, 150 people. And if it comes to fruition, like, yeah, it'd be a great publicity stunt. I'll send 150 Damarious Randall jerseys out there and we'll have some fun with it. Well, when it quickly turns into over 500,000 jerseys and it looks like 100 million, you get out in front of it and say, man, I was just joking out there. I wasn't serious.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think at this point, he has to be kidding. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, if you're in Cleveland, yeah, isn't that like why wouldn't you like you buy him your own jersey? Like, I guess it's decent publicity for him though. I don't know.
Yeah, like, and I'm
Um,
sure if you had, let's just say, 100 people retweeted it, I'm pretty sure you could probably call up Nike and be like, "Hey, look, this is great publicity here. Why don't we send me 100 jerseys out here? I can give them out. I'll sign them, and it'll just be a good look." And I'm sure they would go along with it. But there comes a certain term when it comes back and says, "Hey, look, we would have sent you 100 jerseys. We're not sending you 100,000 jerseys, pal."
all right, Donnie, I'm gonna go on a little rant here, so I'd like for you to give me the floor if that's okay.
Now, as long as it has nothing
And
to do in the chat box, as long as it doesn't have anything to read in the chat box, you have the open floor.
well, first of all, Donnie, I'll go on whatever rant I
Because
want,
I
and
know,
second
yeah,
of
I
all,
know where you're going. Do I know where you're going?
no, you have no idea.
All
Um, I,
right, go.
I want to
Go.
I want to discuss the sad state of the NCAA and where
Okay,
they're
go
truly
ahead, go ahead.
ruining young men, and they're really adding to the whole, you know, poor black kid thing. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing young men who have worked their whole life to go to college, to go to the next level, to improve themselves as men and be coached by great coaches in basketball, Frank Martin, certain different other guys that have given these kids second chances because they've already had to make a decision because someone else in their life went behind their back, spurned them, made money off them without them knowing. Brian Bowen, the sad really just story that's been behind this kid. I mean, you look at everyone, Billy Preston, Brian Bowen, all these kids trying to get somewhere in life, trying to do something with being a basketball player. You look at Brian Bowen, he will never play in college basketball because of these ridiculous suspensions. I mean, they suspended him again, Donnie. This kid didn't do anything wrong. There's been no proof that he knew anything about this stuff. When someone behind his back, his own father went behind his back, took $20,000 or whatever it was, got him to go to Louisville. He had to sit out last year. He accepted it, sat out last year. Goes to South Carolina. They give him a 2-year suspension on top of it. And now he's got to just basically accept, go into the NBA where he's not ready, and his basketball career will be ruined. He'll never play at a high level. He could have been a great player that we've never heard of, and he'll rise to prominence and do it the hard way, but he shouldn't have to do it the hard way. He should have been able to go to school like every other kid. These ridiculous sanctions, this mafia like approach that they have, where they say, we're going to just do what we want and we're going to affect young black men's life because we want to do it and we don't care what happens as long as we get, and we're the tyrants. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to ruin kids' lives because he didn't accept money. He didn't go in some back room and say, hey, give me 50K and I'll come to your school. It didn't happen. Someone in his life went behind his back and ruined his own life. Why does he have to pay the price? And now we're going to put someone in the NBA that probably shouldn't be in the NBA, wastes all of his talent. In 5 years, no one will know who he is. He'll be doing something that he shouldn't be doing, most likely, because that's what young kids do with no direction and no one in their life to help them out. This is a sad story, and it happens constantly, and I'm sick of it. These young kids with so much talent get taken because of the fucking NCAA, and they want to be these, movers of justice all of a sudden. I'm just tired of it. I'm sick of seeing young men fail because of fucking tyrants like the NCAA.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not the perfect system there, but I know, it's
No,
kept
it's
the
a
team.
terrible system. It's disgusting.
But you
It's
can't. But
sad,
see,
really.
there's outlying factors, though. I mean, obviously, Bruce
What are
Bowen,
they?
somebody had their hand in the cookie jar out there. I mean, he's an outlier. Look at DeAndre Ayton. His family was out there asking for money, but they couldn't prove anything, and he played. And there's no sanctions, and he's into the NBA now. Somebody in Bruce Bowen's life got him caught up so bad, And I'm sure he was probably he's not play. He didn't just go out there and play AAU basketball like he knew nothing was going on. Money was exchanging hands, which is the reason why he went to Louisville in the first place.
Well,
If
I
he didn't
said
care about the money,
he
Jeff,
didn't do
you
that.
know what?
He didn't do that.
If Louisville was offering $50,000 and he sends out an email goes, Louisville just offered me 50 grand. You know what? I'm not going there. That's ridiculous. I don't want any money. I'm going to UCLA. You'd be like, all right, man, good. But he went to Louisville based on a payment overall, Jeff.
He didn't accept anything. It's been proven.
Yeah, but
It's been
why did he
proven
go
in
to
an
Louisville, though?
investigation.
If Louisville was paying 50 grand,
Because he
why
was
is he
told
there? Why
to.
was he at Michigan State? Exactly, he was told to go there because money was exchanged.
He didn't know that. It's been proven by the
He
NCAA,
had no idea.
Donnie.
He didn't want to go
You
to
know what?
Louisville at all, and all of a sudden shows up at Louisville. Jeff, the NCAA screws a lot of people. You can't have a part-time job. You can't do this. You can't do that. I get it. But there was big money at stake, and he shows up at Louisville when a payment of $50,000 was going there. You're telling me he had no idea, like out of nowhere, like, hey, I'm just going to be on a whim. You know what? You know what? Hold on. Wait.
He did
Louisville
nothing.
today. Yes.
The
Oh, wait.
FBI cleared him, Donnie, of any wrongdoing. That little organization called the FBI proved something that he didn't do anything here. That's the sad
There's
state.
a lot, but there's a lot of money in that, though. I'm usually in agreement with you. I don't like a lot of the stuff the NCAA is, but you can't just show up one day to Louisville out of nowhere when Rick Pitino had no idea even who you are recruiting you, and all of a sudden a 5-star shows up on your doorstep. Everybody's dirty in that one, Jeff. Everybody.
Let's keep spurning young men for no reason. We don't know why we're doing it. We're just going to do it because we're going to be the tyrants of justice. We're going to figure this out. You want to do one thing and do another. It's bullshit, and it's sad. And now another kid is going to fail because of the fucking NCAA, and we just add that to the narrative of, it's going to add back into now what's he going to do with his life? Because basketball was all it was, and he was set on doing something, and he's not going to be able to do it now. It's a shame, I think, and it's a shame no one cares.
I would blame Rick Pitino more than anything at that point, right? Because I think was he on his way to Michigan State? Did he commit to who did he commit to before he went to Louisville?
Michigan State.
Yeah, exactly. So the bag handlers get behind the scenes, be like, "Yo, man, you sure you want to go to Michigan State here? I got a nice little payment for you set up down at Louisville." Louisville's the most dirty program and Rick Pitino of all time. So I mean, if you want to blame somebody, it's got to be Pitino in that instance, because the kid ends up at Michigan State, he's probably free and clear to go there, regardless of whatever they had. At least you can't nail Michigan State down with outside of like sexual allegations. They don't be known to be a huge payment program out there, pay to play. I mean, I'm sure it goes on behind the scenes, but Rick Pitino was at fault here. An older guy trying to save his lifestyle down there, getting 5-star recruits, opening up the wallet. And again, Jeff, sometimes I don't even fault Bruce Bowen. If you were behind the scenes as an 18 or 19-year-old kid and saying, like, everybody does this. Look, hey, man, I'm going to give you, let's just say, $25,000 cash. I'll fund it to you. That seems like $10 million to an 18-year-old kid who's like, I don't think anybody's going to find out. I can maybe get myself a nice new car I never had, to get some change, have some pocket money to walk around. And hell, I'll probably only be here 1 year and be off to the NBA. Even if they find out by then, it's not against the law what I just did there. I'm just going to head to the NBA and have some fun. I can't fault the kid, because if you're asking me as an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old saying, Donnie, I got, a brand new banging Lexus or Mercedes out there for you, just if you go to Louisville and he accepts it, I can't even get mad at the kid. But sometimes, Jeff, rules are rules in that instance.
I'm not sure what is Jesse? Why do people keep mentioning? What does that mean?
Now, we thought you were going to, look, when you said you're about to go on a rant, because Jesse it was almost like a nice burner account, Jeff, that you would make up to a cost yourself.
I can't see that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I can't see it.
He kept on saying like LeBron James. Why would Philly need LeBron James? He's going to ruin the team or something like that. And I was like, Jeff got enough of this.
Nucky Thompson, basketball was in his whole life. Why doesn't he buckle down and get a grade? But he's trying to. I mean, there's a reason he says South Carolina Nucky to play basketball and go to school. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I think it's just
he wasn't going to use basketball as an education, but I do think he's talented enough. I mean, maybe he's going to have to find his way NBA, the G League, or head overseas, because he's going to be a one and done player. He's a one and done guy.
Wasn't a one and done.
He was that. So you're saying there's no way Bruce Bowen was going 4 years to Louisville, Jeff, and getting his degree. No way.
Bruce Bowen played.
Brian Bowen. I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he could have had a career like Bruce Bowen.
He's not going to get the opportunity, and that's a shame. Let's move into NHL. Capitals beat the Vegas Knights 3-2. If you had the over, sorry. Um, that's a tough beat for you. It was
That's
3-2
tough.
for seemingly a long time, and it never went over the number. Had amazing saves from
Yeah.
Holtby. Uh, Now we head back to Washington with the series tied, Donnie.
No, yeah, yeah, it was an amazing game. I watched it right from the jump. I mean, there could have been like 3 or 4 goals in the first 5 minutes of that game. Slowed down a bit scoring wise, but the action's been great. I mean, if you want to put this on a poster for hockey and say, look, if you've never watched NHL hockey or professional hockey, just tune into the Stanley Cup final. It's exactly what hockey's supposed to be about. No left wing lock, no traps, 4 fast lines out there, skilled players, amazing goaltending, making tremendous saves. Great crowd there in Las Vegas. Great openings, a lot of fun to watch, and competitive games. Hopefully, and again, the only thing I was rooting for in this series, Jeff, was just to go 6 or 7 games for the drama. 2 really good teams playing a fun style of hockey. And you're right, last night, if you had the over, that's a tough beat because I don't think anybody in the world thought that stick save was going to happen with under 2 minutes. And then Las Vegas kept the pressure on late in the game and almost scored at least 2 more times in that final 2 minutes. But sometimes, as the coach said there, not the gambling gods, but the hockey gods, once you make that save, you're in pretty good shape after that.
The people acted like that save was like the ninth wonder of the world. It was nice. I mean, guy shot right into his glove. Good for him. I mean, it was a good
Nah,
save,
hit
but
the
it wasn't that
stick.
great.
It was amazing. No,
Wasn't that
it probably saved the series for the Capitals. They scored. Las Vegas scores that goal there and says 3-3. They're probably going to win in overtime. 2-0 lead. You go back, demoralize Washington. Best save in the history, Jeff, of the Washington Capitals. How about that?
Kuznetsov leaves game 2 with an arm injury.
Yeah.
Obviously, they want to get him back. Evgeny Kuznetsov uh, from Chelkabinsk, Russia. Um, does that not just sound like an NHL name? Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Yes.
So
Like he was
he'll,
born. That guy was born to play. He's
yeah,
probably born to
yeah,
play in the KHL in Russia. Yeah.
yeah. So he's out. He's got to get healthy. They're going to need him. He actually did play in Russia, Donnie, until in KHL until 2010
See?
or 2011.
He probably
Actually, I'm
played for
sorry,
Locomotive over
2013.
there, Jeff.
No, he played for Traktar
Ah,
Chelyabinsk in his
damn.
hometown.
There you go.
How about that?
There you
Played for your hometown team. You then go over to USA and you make hockey. Good for him. Um, I love it. Good for that guy. Good player too, from what I've seen.
Hey,
Big man,
leader
he
in the
saved it with
playoffs in
his.
points. That's going to be a big injury. That's a big injury. If he's out, what, 2, 3, 4 games, or maybe the rest of the series, that's advantage Vegas, man.
He saved it with a stick. What were you watching? I don't know. I didn't really think it was that great. I've seen better. Um, can the Caps take care of home ice? I don't know. I don't think they can. I think it'll be 1-1 back to Vegas probably.
I
I
wanted
think
to,
the
yeah.
game. I think the series will probably go 6 or 7. I mean, it looks pretty even, fast pace, fun, up and down. You got that one character doing the play by play who's pretty good generally. What's the guy's name, Donnie? The older guy.
Who, Mike Emmerich? Emmerich?
Whip that shot wide.
Yeah,
Like
he's a
that
good one.
guy. Like, yeah, he's
Doc, yeah.
yeah. There you go. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Obviously, I'm sitting on a future, so I'm hoping that we Vegas goes and gets the job done. I'd like to see 2-0 out in Washington, and we get Game 5 and series is over. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, Donnie? Be very much interested in that one. Um,
Yeah.
all right, settle down, Larry. Top 10 of all time. Okay, it was a great save. Let's move on. Top 10 of all time. Uh, I've seen way better saves than that. Uh, let's move on
On the
to
street,
the
yeah. On the
yeah. I've seen dude, it's South Philly
In the
street hockey.
streets of
I've seen
South
way.
Philadelphia, yes, which is known for street hockey out there. Yes, there would have been much better.
Yeah, Vinny from Porter Street made a great save too, dude. It was just never seen by
Back in
anybody.
'89, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into MLB. MLB yesterday was interesting, to say the
Yeah.
least. Um, Braves and Mets. How about this? Vargas mystifies the Braves, to the surprise of everybody. Jason Vargas all of a sudden knows how to pitch. But I'll tell you what, Donnie, if you read into that line movement, and it's maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a changing of the guard in MLB. Favorites have been winning. You look at yesterday in that game, the line opened 180 all day. The line drops, closes 150. 80% of the money on the Braves, and
Yep.
they lose 4-1. I can't say I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no, I guess you could say finally one for the sharp guys out there, because if you've been reading anything or been surfing around Twitter, there's a couple of other not books out there, but other services that track those type of odds, and they're calling it what, Jeff? The Haley's Comet has now hit the sharp better, where 77, 75% or more of the tickets coming in. Those teams steamrolled over the past 3 to 4 weeks out there, when typically that wouldn't be the case. But you're right, a couple monster games. You're talking about that Braves and the Mets. You're watching it, and sometimes you have to get a little bit of a chuckle, even when the Mets or the Braves are trying to come on late. I know if you're looking for a team total, bases loaded or first and third, you have ridiculous double plays that are being turned at that point. That's when you know it's going a little bit south there. But yes, the writing was on the wall, and eventually some of these dogs are going to catch up and creep there, because Tehran at home, who hasn't been great, but I think everybody was just looking at Vargas saying, well, what does Vargas actually give you? And the Mets bullpen behind Vargas, because Vargas isn't going 7 1/3 out there. So I mean, just one of those games where for once the Atlanta Braves seemed like they couldn't hit.
Yeah, and even late though, it seemed like we always kind of thought the Mets would blow it. I mean, they've been blowing a ton lately, so we kind of almost assumed they would just blow it. But they were able to hold it down and get a big time win. I'll tell you right now, though, the Mets are in a lot of trouble, man. They have, as we know, their lineup's not good. Mickey Callaway, Donnie, it seems like he has no idea what he's doing. I mean, he really does. It seems like he's just. I mean, even in his press conferences after the game, like he's just like. I think he's just like trial by fire right now. He's just trying to like try something and see if it sticks. Washington wins again. They've won 6 in a row, Donnie. Washington cruising right now. They're 20-8 on the road. Are the Washington Nationals? They get another big win last night against Baltimore. Not they didn't score a ton of runs, but they did enough. Covered a run line. Max Scherzer gets another big time game, and Washington keeps playing well. They're starting to kind of be the leaders in the NL East, as we didn't think they wouldn't be.
Yeah, road start for Scherzer there closes what, 250, 260 out there. 88% of the tickets on Washington. And does Baltimore even threaten? I mean, Baltimore is almost like if you look at Baltimore and you say, you know what, I haven't watched them play yet, but let me just look at the roster, like the 1 through 9 they can put out there. You're like, you know what, this team's probably going to hit. It's got some names in that lineup. But when you watch them play, and we talked about it, on Tuesday before we getting on the roundtable there, just the construction of the overall lineup. I mean, who doesn't love Manny Machado, right? Going to play Gold Glove style shortstop, rake at the plate. But outside of that, what do you do if you're not stealing bases, if you're clogging up the bases, if your main goal is, I hope I can hit a home run, because if I don't, I can't even move any runners over with productive outs? That Baltimore as a team, Jeff, you look at bullpen wise, starting pitching wise, lineup construction wise, and payroll, it's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean nothing about that team is professional, really, other than like Machado. Uh, Intertops closed the Mariners at 270. They go down
Hmm.
to the Texas
Yeah.
Rangers.
Hmm.
Uh, Matt Moore, didn't matter. He gave up runs, didn't matter. Um, Bullpen blows it for the M's. Listen, Donnie, there's a lot of good teams in baseball, but I'll tell you what, some of these teams that are good baseball teams, bullpens are a problem. Mariners are one of them. Houston's another one of them. Some of these teams have real good baseball teams, but that bullpen is a kind of a concern at certain points. They blow it to Texas last night, 7-6, and the Texas Rangers cash is a nice plus 230 underdog.
Yeah, no, easily covered the over 7.5. Sometimes at some outlets, Jeff, 7 minus 120 closed that easily, going over the number. The one interesting thing that you like about Texas, if you're always going to, take a look at betting, so to speak, the over, they don't give you that great of starting pitching. They don't give you that good a bullpen. And sometimes they can give you some timely hitting. The interesting thing about them is they have usually on a more day-to-day basis, Jeff, even with Big Maple Paxton on the mound, a lefty who can be touched up by left-handed batters. They're going to throw any given day on a normal rotation, Jeff, 4 to 5 left-handed bats, even if they're facing a lefty. Worked out really well last night. They waited Paxton out, got after the bullpen there, and it was definitely, that's not really a hitter's ballpark. And a couple of those scores over the past couple of games going really high, but that's, minus 276 closing at some outlets out there, Jeff, taking the loss. That's one of those games where people just tie in like a run line, or just, hey, I'm just going to throw this in a parlay, just explodes at rate on contact. But some of these big dogs finally working out last night, Jeff, for sure.
Indians crushed the White Sox. Yankees beat the Astros. Yankees 2 out of 3 against Houston, and the Indians are really starting to score some runs and look like a pretty good baseball team. Problem is, they're not playing anyone. They're beating bad teams. They're going to run away with that division. It's not going to be a race or anything. The Indians are just lucked out to be in a patsy division, Donnie.
Yeah, no, you're right about it there. You know, getting back to your point there yesterday, like we brought up a couple topics on the roundtable, Jeff, going over like we were talking. The Yankees game was one of the breakdowns over it, and you're looking at that game, and I'm saying, you know what? I don't have any money on it, but you have to cap the game and give your honest opinion on it. I'm saying, you know what? First 5 innings probably a pretty good wager here. Keuchel's on the mound, he can deal, getting it back into shape. Severino, one of the best pitchers out there. Now, Severino, what'd he go, Jeff? 7 innings, 2 earned runs. He's been phenomenal overall. But you head into a 4.5, depending on where you were shopping out there yesterday. It's 1-0 heading into the fifth. A couple runs on a 2-out bomb off Severino makes that game 2-1. You head into the bottom of the fifth inning, down to your last strike, I believe was Gary Sanchez singled to make it 3-2. Just amazing how sometimes with baseball, because you're looking at Yankee Stadium and great hitters on both sides, that even with the best of pitching, man, it takes 1 or 2 swings out there and you get yourself in trouble. I think the full game Jeff pushed, I believe it was 8, maybe a 7.5 might have been out there, at 8.5, depending on where you were shopping at there. But a late, I believe maybe a solo home run pushed it over. But so things in baseball, Jeff, so thin how you can win and lose some of those games, just amazing to watch.
Yeah, I also heard people calling it a WFAN yesterday saying that Gary Sanchez should be traded. Da 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 da. He's a terrible
How old is
catcher.
23, 22? How old is Gary Sanchez?
Well, people want a pitcher and they want to trade people. And Gary is not a good catcher. I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, he's awful behind the plate, but he's enough, and he's got a good bat generally. He's just going through a slump. Um, it's rare you find catchers that can hit. That's just the truth of the matter anymore in baseball. There's not a lot of good catchers hitting wise. I know this year he's not hitting well. He's only hitting 211, but I don't believe he's a trade piece when they trade anyone. You're not trading him. You're not trading Torres. You're not trading Judge. Everyone else is probably on the platter, and that's the great thing about the Yankees. They have so many options to trade once it becomes time to do so. Um, and I think we're seeing the writing on the wall. The Yankees just need a starting pitcher. If they can get one more pitcher, they're going to be right up there. They're going to have the opportunity to win the World Series.
Yeah, Jeff, the best thing about the Yankees in that when you why would you you're a little bit still ahead of the pace with the Yankees, theoretically. I mean, you went out and made a trade for what to get Sonny Gray, hasn't worked out. I wouldn't compound that because if you look at their lineup, they have young stars in there. They're going to be good for a long time. And the best MO that Brian Cashman brought to the organization was let's not get ahead of ourselves. Look, we have a great farm system, great scouting department. Why give up some of those young ones when the Yankees, unlike the Mets, Jeff, in the same city, when it comes time like a Kluber is a free agent, they don't care, Jeff. They'll pay $275 million to get Kluber. And then the best part about that is, Jeff, you don't give up any young talent there. If you're the Yankees, don't trade any of these young big power studs because you're built for that ballpark. You're built for the 3-run home run. That's what these guys are going to give you. So what, you sacrifice a little bit on catchers. Teams don't run that much anyway at this point where it's going to be that big of a detriment. They're just going to wait till free agency, overpay for pitching because they like to win and they can spend money.
But they definitely need that third pitcher.
Oh, absolutely
sure.
they do.
Gotta
Absolutely they do.
Let's get into NBA tonight. We got NBA Finals. What do you got on the line, Donnie?
Yeah, NBA Finals, Jeff. Let me just take a look today. Let's get some updated odds here on the board for the NBA. And it's, look, Jeff, Chris, Intertops, -13, -115, which means that could be on the move to 13.5. Over under 214.5. I got to say, Jeff, if you're not going to have Iguodala out there for the Golden State Warriors, that lead on the ball guy. Does he shut LeBron James down? No, but he does enough to harass. He fouls him a lot. And you can't call every foul out there in the NBA. I think Iguodala does a nice job there. He's not going to be in the game tonight. Doesn't it seem to be like, Jeff, a ton of three-pointers in this game? And we all know Cleveland, Jeff, your mantra during the season was, does Cleveland want to play defense at any time here? Like, you're looking at the Celtics slow it down and can't miss. All those three-pointers that the Celtics missed, Jeff, Golden State's not going to miss those. Wouldn't it make sense in this one for the 215 or 214 to go over? Or I hear a lot of people out there saying LeBron James is going to store up his energy and not force it in game one and maybe get after it in game two. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think the Cavs defense is going to hold up the way we saw it against Boston and Indiana. Look, those teams are solid teams, but they're not they don't have the offensive capability that the Golden State Warriors have. I think the Cavs get back to their old ways tonight defensively. I don't believe for a second they're going to keep up this 92 points a game stuff that they've been doing lately. Um, I think they're going to revert back more like that 108 point a game that they've given up all season. I think they're going to get shredded defensively tonight. And I don't think Golden State, if you watch how they play, they're not particularly good defensively either. Draymond Green has just got too much he's got to do at this point. Without Iguodala, like you said, they're fairly pulled certain ways as far as who's going to play. Look, Looney's gotta play at this point, I guess, but there's not a lot of great defenders out there right now for the Golden State Warriors. We've talked before about Stephen Curry, not a particularly strong defender. Klay Thompson has had some trouble as well. I agree with you. I think a lot of people will look under just because of how some of these series have went. We've seen 87-79. You look at some of these Golden State games, 92-95, 98-94, 101-92. None of these games have went over the number. You look at for Golden State, Donnie. You look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 10 games, 9 have went under the number. Okay, they've won over in that little streak there. I think that the series changes a different tune tonight. I think Cleveland goes back to their old ways defensively. I'll go over the number.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that too, Jeff? Because if you look at like styles make fights, I mean, forget about running up and down, but you're right. Golden State's going to pull the trigger anywhere on the court and usually hits at a really good clip. The one thing when you take a look at Iguodala not being in the lineup, like Draymond Green's not going to go out and play one-on-one with LeBron at the top of the key. LeBron should be able, Jeff, to get to the rack whenever he wants it. It's just up to the guys on Cleveland to make the open shot or the open three when it's there. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities. And in a Golden State game, it's always hard, Jeff, to look at the under unless it's something outrageous where they hang like a 229 up there, even though you do have the tendency for a blowout if you're looking just on the overall number at 13.5. But you can easily see this game, Jeff, 117, 105 or something like that. I could see it coming in right around that number where the line is, but certainly pushing it over the total. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited that the NBA is back tonight. And thank goodness that at least Cleveland's in there. So you get that added intrigue, Jeff, because the best part about it is you get the haters and the lovers of LeBron. They're going to be tuning in. Twitter's going to be on fire if Golden State is up 22-7. Ha ha, LeBron. Ha ha, told you. What's he even doing playing this one? Going to be a lot of fun to go back and forth on Twitter tonight, Jeff.
I want to make this clear. So you people do understand he has 4 other players on his team. He can't do everything, right? I love that whole narrative of LeBron's not good because they're not going to win the title this year. Okay, but he got there. Do you understand how difficult it is with the players that he has around him to get to the finals? I mean, that's such a stupid, lazy argument. Oh, he's not good because he's not going to win the title this year. Look what happens. In large parts of his career, he's had no one around him to speak of, and he's still gotten to the finals. By the way, Donnie, off the subject a little bit before we get to MLB.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're looking for a show to watch on TV, I've never talked about this show on the show before, but I got to tell you, I watched the first episode of the second season last night. Phenomenal. It is a great show. It's on the History Channel. It's called Six. It's about Navy SEALs. Fantastic show. Really good. As far as for a TV show, like on like that network TV, really good. I'm not one to watch them either. I prefer HBO and those kind of things. Olivia Munn's in the new season. She looks great. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Six, check it out. Check the first season out. Second season just started. It's really good. It's about Navy SEALs and kind of their lives and them having to go and do missions in different places, and it's really good. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a new show. Let's get into baseball, Danny. So I'm going to put it on record. I think the best play tonight's the over the number.
Yeah, I like it. I think you're on the right track on that one. A couple quick baseball games. Got a couple of minutes here left in the show. Some good ones here, Jeff, tonight. We slide it down. We'll take a look at some numbers here. Why don't we start? We'll go right in order. What do we have in order first? Twins versus the Indians, Jeff. Interesting one, 969, 970. 8 o'clock start tonight. Twins almost came all the way back, Jeff, down 9-0 in the second. Actually got it back to 9-8, but couldn't pull the trigger and get over the top. They now head back home to face a hot offense in the Cleveland Indians. Jake Odorizzi is going to be in the mound. If you're taking a look at these games here, now it's hard. They got, not Justin Bieber's coming up today, Jeff. Another Bieber is going to be starting on the mound. But check this out, though, Jeff. In AAA this year, 34 innings, a 148 batting average against him, a whip of .55, so not loading up the bases. Balls in play, If you do make contact, Jeff, a 183 and an ERA of 1.05. So not just one of those guys coming up for a spot start, tomato king. He's actually having some good success. The one way you can get after Jeff, Jake Odorizzi, both home and away, is from the left-hand side. And if you look at the Cleveland Indians, they can stack lefties against you. Not a good look tonight for Odorizzi in this one, but sometimes you want to take a wait-and-see approach to see really how good this Bieber kid is. Kind of funny to even cap a game with that. But if you're looking from just an overall perspective in this one, he's getting respect, Jeff. Opened up at 123, 125. It is down a little bit, but for a guy coming up from AAA on the road that's going to be a favorite, should be an interesting one.
Cleveland, 43 runs in their last 5 games. I mean, they're murdering the ball right now. And yeah, I mean, you said some good things about Bieber, and Shane Bieber, he's done a nice job this year. Coming up, we saw what Michael Clevenger's done for the Cleveland Indians. They've had some decent pitchers come up lately, young kids, and do some good things. I'm not really looking to step in front of them right now. That other than I know last night, I know Minnesota kind of showed out offensively, but I mean, it's been a long kind of ordeal here over the last week or so. They are not hitting right now. They're only hitting 201. I mean, look, Donnie, I think this number's really fair. I think, people are kind of looking at this and saying, well, this is some spot starter. I'm going to, maybe Cleveland gets got here. They're kind of this kind of team that we can't trust. But the truth of the matter is they're playing really good baseball right now. This Beavers look good. I don't like Jake Odorizzi. I'm going to lean towards Cleveland here.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. And it's funny, like coming up from AAA or making a AAA start. There was a game last night that I participated in, Jeff, over 7.5 in the Oakland game. Oakland ends up with one hit from a pitcher, Jeff, that hasn't pitched in about 2 years in Major League Baseball, made a rehab start in AAA, and gave up 8 earned runs, but mystified Oakland last night. So, hey, look, we can look at all these AAA stats we want, but I guess until you get to the main stage and see what you actually have, you might want to take a wait-and-see
There,
approach. But can't fault you if you
there's
go
a
out there, because Indians should hit tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, there's a difference though, and as you know, Donnie, between minor leaguers that are just in the minor leagues because that's where you start and you got to get feel your way up, and then there's guys that have been in the minor leagues for like 9 years and they're getting their shot at the MLB finally. Those are the guys you're looking to fade. The Trevor Mays of the world, like the Sean O'Sullivans of the world, those kind of guys. Shane Bieber is a high level prospect that really just had to do his time. Yeah, and you look at like you said in the minors, Donnie. I mean, a 149 average against this year, last year, a
Yeah.
215 average against. He's been very
Yeah.
good.
No, I agree with you there. So I mean, if you're going to take a shot on a kid, especially sometimes you like that sneak attack, Jeff, right? Like maybe these guys haven't seen him before, where they have a couple tapes from AAA to see how he's pitching. But sometimes you got to get in there and get through the rotation 1, 2, or 3 times around till you get a feel. Maybe he can sneak up. But the thing I like about it is Odorizzi gets ripped from the left-hand side. I think Cleveland can expose that. It's supposed to be some decent weather in Minnesota tonight, Jeff. Let's keep it moving here. An interesting matchup, Jeff. 7:35 Pacific time, or excuse me, 7:35 Eastern time start. Late afternoon start. Philadelphia and the Dodgers. Great pitching matchup here. But again, you get a little bit of that, wait and see approach here. A month off for Clayton Kershaw, going to go against Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola has been very good. If we take a look at some splits out there, very good against right-handed batters. Last night looks like, again, the Dodgers exploded on the offensive end. Can they do that to Nola in a pitcher's ballpark? I don't think so, but more worried about what I'm going to get from Kershaw, Jeff. Is this the old Clayton Kershaw we're going to get where he's allowed to go 8 innings and throw 110 pitches? Or is this one saying, Clayton, go out there, give us 5 good innings, and we'll let the bullpen try to decide the rest, but maybe Aaron Nola's pitching well? It's one I'm going to take a step back from. Definitely going to be watching because I like the matchup, but I don't have much on this game overall. 6.5, Jeff, the over-under here.
Yeah, I mean that's Kershaw. You kind of the concern with him. They're going to have him on a short leash a little bit, but Donnie, I'll keep anchoring it. The Phillies are bad offensively. They're the bad lineup. They're not hitting on the road. You look at last night again, mystified by Ross Stripling. I get a feeling Kershaw kind of gets back to his old ways. I don't know if he'll be shut down and he's not going to go 7 innings and 2 hits, but I think he'll be fairly successful here. 10 of the last 12, though, between the Phillies and Dodgers have gone over the number. You see a total at 6.5, Donnie. But it's hard to do it with these two pitchers, two real good pitchers. I think Aaron Nola is the second best pitcher right now in the NL, probably behind Scherzer. You could make the case right now if you give me the ball in a game, late game in the playoffs. Aaron Nola has been as good as anybody. 8 of his 10 starts have gone under the number. His WHIP is under 1. He's just been fantastic. But your big concern here with an under is those bullpens. First 5 under might look pretty good. You might see a 0-0 game here in the 5th inning. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this? I used to do this a lot with Cole Hamels back when he was really on his game with the Phillies. Like, obviously, you're going against Kershaw, Jeff, but I'm pretty sure at this point, if you took a first 5 inning wager on Nola, you can probably get plus 105, maybe even plus 110 back and get the run line plus a half run on Nola. Those are some always interesting options I'd like to take a look at. Only about a minute left in the show, Jeff. Astros, Red Sox, real quick on that one. McCullers, dynamite at home. Pomeranz, Jeff, I know you're not too big on him. He can be hit a little bit from the right-hand side. We all know in that bandbox down there in Houston, they're going to stack some right-handed bats against him and really get after him. But again, it's one of those things where you see Boston, a really good team, catching minus 200. There's probably a reason for that there. I won't be involved in this game from a side perspective. Too high for me, but McCullers been great at home, Jeff.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I'm looking towards probably team total in this one. We'll kind of see how the numbers shake out throughout the day. But that is it, guys. The time has come to wrap it up. Donnie, by the way, you've seen Vice Principals? That's a show you like?
It's an unbelievable show. Unbelievable
Yeah,
show.
There's a guy in Vice Principals. He's in Six. That
Yep.
show I was telling you
And
about.
now,
He's
see, now
actually
you
in it.
said that there. Somebody brought that up in the chat box, Jeff. I really think I have to get after it now and watch it because that's my man,
No,
Ear Hustle.
I think you'll like it. It's a good show, man. It really is. Really interesting. But we'll wrap it up here. Yep, I'm aware. We have to get off. I got it. I'm always pulled 8,000 ways. Get off the show. I know. 10:55. I know. Let's wrap it up here, Donnie. Have a great day to everyone out there. We'll be back Friday with a wrap up of the week here on the right side of campus. Everyone enjoy your day. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.